Welcome everybody to the Garlet's High Performance Garage channel. And it's another day filled with brake shit. And this is a new caliper. Very lightweight, very cheap construction. Well, I don't know if it's cheap construction. They are made in China. Everything I got here is made in China. These are the original. This is an original caliper. They're exactly the same, as you can see. That one and that one. Yes. But this one is for the driver side. This is for the passenger side because of the placement of the bleeder right there. You gotta have that bleeder up instead of down because your brake hose goes right there. And I've already finished the driver side. Got the cross-drilled slotted rotors for this one too. This is the Charger Daytona, by the way, and it's got the heavy-duty big brakes up front. It's got the police package on it. And I put a new brake hose on because it was when you hit the brakes, it was, I mean, if you did a panic stop, it couldn't decide which side of the road it wanted to dive to. It either wanted to dive you in the ditch or dive you into traffic. So it's like, well, I don't know which caliper is bad. I don't even know if it's a caliper. It could be brake hose. Could be a caliper. It's one of those two things. Because that's how it is. That's what happens. And as you can see, I put this on and it's not leaking that I can see. I did have some, well, of course it pours out the whole time. I gotta actually let the car down to refill the master cylinder so it doesn't run completely dry. I just have to put back brakes on too. And I was rotating the tires because they're getting down there. The alignment's off on the front. This side here is all cupped out. It's wore. On that one, it's mainly because I put a tie rod a couple of months ago on this. And we got cross-drilled slotted for the back. And I didn't have to put calipers on the back. I just replaced the brake pads because they were junk. And now we're going to go to the other side. And I found something else interesting. Now, this is like the second year this car's been out in the salt. As you can see, there's salt all over the son of a bitch. And I put tailpipes on this thing before. Now, I found this. I got a hole here. And this is awesome. Now, mind you, this car has only been, it's only ran when it's nice out, but there's salt on the road, okay? Other than that, when I got the car, we never ran it in the salt at all. It never came out in the salt. But now, I got me a fucking hole in the floor here. I don't know why. The trunk isn't leaking. I mean, the battery is in the trunk, but it's right here. It's actually right above this spot right here. And it seems to be all right. It's got a little breather hole for the gases, you know. And, I mean, the car is generally in really good condition. But as far as, like, the running goes, it doesn't run as good as what it used to. You know, I used to burn the tires off of this son of a bitch all the time. But here's the old rotors. They're not awful, but they're getting there. And they're kind of warped. We got us a rust situation here from running it in the salt. So it all lays back in here. It's starting to separate here at the pinch weld. So, you know, it's gonna just continue, and got some other blisters up in there starting. And it just goes to show you the quality. Oh boy, looky there. I didn't see those before. Yeah, you can see the quality of the new steel. You know, even though this car is an '06, I mean, it's fairly old car. I'll be running around here seeing historics on them next. Because, you know, that's what people do. And hell, this tag isn't that old. It's peeling. That just goes to show you what salt does to vehicles. So, I got a set of Flowmaster 40s on this thing I put on it years ago. These were on my Chevelle at one time. I took them off and put them on this thing because it sounded like shit with those factory mufflers. It didn't really have much of an idle. So it's like, oh man, it just needs something. It needs something else. It just needs a better sound. I made a set of mufflers one time because it had that great big muffler where the Flowmasters are sitting. And then back here it had like a resonator. And it curled and fit way up in here. It curled with the ball. I still have them actually. They're still in the garage laying. I cut them off and put them on. Or I cut them off and just took them off. And I put this setup on. This summer I'm going to have to redo this. But it's going to have to be put on hold because it's not dire yet. It's not in need of immediate replacement for now. Of course, up front here, I've never had to replace any of that shit. The other tailpipes up there, they're rusty, but they're not horrible. They're not holes in them. There's no holes in the fuckers or anything. But the mufflers I made a set of square ones for back here. And it really sounded better. But then I got to looking, it burnt and melted through the bumper cover back here. And it melted a perfect square in that bastard. I was thinking, well, you know, shit happens. And it didn't happen to this side here, obviously. And yeah, so, well, I guess we'll get back to work on it. It is in excellent shape. The car is. I mean, it's pretty good shape compared to some I've seen. I've seen a lot of these cars with big holes around the wheel wells around here. But this right here is shot. This is... I mean, there's no mud in that unless they put it in there from the factory. But the trouble is you run these in the salt and you're going to find out. And then plus they have factory. They actually did a little engineering on this car. The factory put rubber snubbers on these for a lift. Because all the dealerships have these types of lifts. Which is pretty awesome. So I'm going to need a brake bleeder guy real soon. You can get a good look at the Judge here again. That's probably the best part about this garage right here is this car. So, other than that, there's a couple dents and dings, scratches. Somebody rammed their door into it one time there. I'm assuming, I don't know who did it, but that's what happens when you go to the supermarket and park your car next to somebody else's. They just slam their fucking doors into shit because people are dicks. And I'm telling you, people today are fucking weird. Now, just going back to the Facebook thing, which is kind of fucked up. I got anti-seize on my shirt again. What's fucked up is I was on my Facebook there the other day. I'm going to take a rest here for a few minutes. I've been hitting this thing hard since about 1 o'clock. And it's 3:30 now. But anyhow, I was on my this This woman, I didn't know, I have no idea who she is, sent me a friend request. And I didn't know her, so. And then it said, she was local here and everything. And a lot of her friends had, my friends were friends with this person too. And I thought, well, whatever. Just, I'll gain another friend. So, and of course, when I gain a friend, I go on Messenger and I greet them with, hello there, good morning, good evening, whatever. How are you? This person just got weird, real weird. I mean, downright weird. Like, mad, like hostile. And I'm like, what the hell? And I don't remember what the fuck she said, but it was kind of something I wouldn't have said to anybody. It was kind of mean, and well, I think she caught herself being kind of hostile, and she did apologize, which is good. I think she kind of she read what she wrote. She might have just been getting up or something out of bed, because it was kind of early when I sent the message. So I did it at work this morning, and I was like, okay, that's fine. And she's like, well, said something about she likes to get straight to the point with people, and like I acted like I wanted something, and it's like I didn't want anything. I just wanted to say hello, because I try to treat people with respect. And even though some people think I don't, I come off to people with, I have like a crude humor on myself. I present crude humor to people. That's just how I am. I say things like, like as you can see the hat I'm wearing, that's my personality. That's just how I am. And some people take big time offense unless, they know me. And they know I'm joking around. A lot of times I'll just tell them I'm just, just messing with them. But some people, these days, people just take this, and especially women in general, they take this. I mean, the statistics on my channel show that women are not, I have more of a male audience because of the stuff that I do. I work on cars, I spin tires, I drag race, I do all kinds of shit. I cuss and raise hell and bitch about things. I'm not on here picking out, plate sets or dish towels or anything. That's something a woman would like to do. And I'm not, on here talking about boys or whatever, or guys that they think look good, or whatever it is they fucking view. But, some of them have these washboard stomach guys on their stuff, and they post things like that all the time. But anyhow, women are not average viewers of my channel unless they know me and they know how I am with them. And this person, I always try to plug my YouTube channel on Facebook with anybody new that I happen to not know. I don't want to say like, because I don't know the person. I can't say that I don't like them. But if I don't know them, I politely say hello to them. I usually get on their page after we're friends, and I'll look around and just kind of, look through their research. I'll research their page a little bit, and then after that, I'll talk to them, and I have a little bit of a general knowledge of what I've seen, because I'm pretty good like that. Sometimes I can remember what I saw on somebody's page. And I'll just be like, oh, I see you work here or whatever. Do you like that? And it's like people are just fucking mad. They get mad when you ask them questions. And people today are just fucking weird. They're just very strange. They're very defensive. They don't like it when you confront them or say too much about them. And women in general feel threatened. It's like, oh my God. Who is this fucking pervert on here talking to me? I don't know this person. I don't know this man. He's a white male. He's threatening me. And it's like, what the fuck? But that's probably some of the thoughts that are going through their head. Probably this man's a pervert. He's stalking me, trying to get me in bed with him, and it's like, well, you know how men are. Anyway, we think about sex about 3 million times a day. It comes across our fucking minds. The first time when I look at a woman, the first thing I think about is what that person will be like in bed. I mean, that's just a natural instinct. That's just how men are. Straight men. I mean, gay men probably think that way too. Oh, how would that guy be in bed with me? Oh, yeah. But I'm not bashing any homosexuals or lesbians or anything like that. I'm just saying. But I know women think differently. A woman will know in the first 5 minutes of meeting you if she wants to sleep with you or not, or be with you forever. That's really weird. I did a little bit of research on them, and they're all very, very fucked in the head, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, I could be wrong. It's just my opinion. But from the shit that I've seen, it's very strange. It's like we have a local Pilot gas station around here, travel center. They sell gas and diesel fuel. It's a truck stop. And years ago, there was a woman that worked there. She's probably 10 years younger than me. And she's a fucking loon. And I didn't really know her that well. Then she got to talking to me. She got to telling me who she was. And here she just lived like down the road from me here, which was kind of scary. Because of the things that I found out about her. She was with a friend of mine, got pregnant. And the guy that I know, he's like way older than me. Well, not way older. He's probably 10 or 12 years older than me. Maybe 10 years older than I am. He's probably 50 couple, I'd say. And what's funny is he gets this woman pregnant. They never got married. And then they end up breaking it off because they didn't get along. And she threatened to kill him and do all kinds of weird shit to him while he slept. And they have a young little boy, and it's so fucked up because when you would walk in there, she was a cashier at the Pilot up there. She would get you cigarettes or turn a gas pump on for you or whatnot. Then she would turn around and because I'd walk in the door, she'd be like, "Oh, hey, hon, how you doing? How you doing, babe?" It's like, you talking to me? Yeah, you're the only one who walked in the door. Okay, I'm fine. I'd go up and get one I needed. They're fucking flirting with me. I'm like, is this person for real? And then you get to talking to her, have a little bit of a conversation with her. Another guy would walk in the place that would catch her interest, like she had ADD or some shit. Catch her interest, and she would be like, "Hey, baby, what's going on?" And she would run through the store after this guy. And there you're standing there at the counter like a dumbass thinking, what the fuck just happened here? It didn't make me mad. It was just fucking weird. And it's like, what is this woman doing? And then later on, I found out who she was. There's my heater kicking on. Ugh, stinks. But anyhow, any guy that would catch her attention walking through the door, she would run after. So it's like, are you still talking to me? And, I guess not, because you're gone. And she would do that every fucking time. And it's like, I would try to avoid her every time I went in there. And it seemed like every time I went in there, she was there working. And it's like, God damn it, do you have a fucking day off or what? And it was to the point where I just didn't like talking to her no more. And it wasn't the fact that she wasn't giving me attention. It was the fact that you were carrying on a conversation and she was being rude by just leaving. She's gone. And you're in mid-sentence. And it's like, you bitch. Where are you going? Whatever. That's fine. I don't care. I don't let it bother me anymore. I try to keep to myself a lot because people are just downright fucking weirdos today. They are very, very strange. I don't know if I don't know why this is happening. It's like people are afraid to talk to each other. It's like they think, I mean, people were out to screw each other over so fucking bad today. It's ridiculous. And everything, it seems like everything that you buy, people that you talk to, like salesmen, stuff like that, they are trying so hard to fuck you over so bad that they can taste it. And they want your fucking bank account number. They want to drain your fucking account. They want to steal your identity and do crazy shit. But anyway, I'm going to have to get back to my brakes. But I'll probably, I'll have to edit all this shit. But anyhow, people are strange. Jim Morrison was right. People are strange. When you're a stranger, faces look ugly when you're alone. Women are wicked when you're unwanted. It's true. It's all true. He knew what he was talking about. That was back in the fucking 60s and 70s. He predicted the future. Not really, but you know. He was a friggin' weirdo anyhow on fucking acid and all that bullshit. So, anyway, I'll have to get back to my brake job here. Get all this bullshit done. What am I doing here? Pontiac. This is a true statement. Sometimes all you need is freedom and an old truck and a dirt road. I have that same one in my garage. But yeah, this is the new one up here. So, my friend here isn't performing real good today, I can tell you that. It's good, but it's not good. I don't know if it has to do with only having the 2 bars lighting up. I mean, that battery's been sitting around for a while. It was on my drill for like 2 months. So, but anyhow, everybody, gonna get back to this brake job here. And here we are. It's almost 4:30. Took me another hour to put the rest of these fucking brakes on this thing. I had some problems with the rear passenger side wheel. Everything was really, really tight on there. Last time I put brakes on this, I didn't use no anti-seize, so so that was my problem. I had to break everything loose. And conveniently, the anti-seize brush on the end of the cap just disintegrated. Brand new thing, anti-seize. Must be making those little brushes in China now. It just looked like somebody shaved their fucking pubic hairs off into the fucking shit. You know, and it just looked like fucking cunt or cock hairs in the fucking thing. But yeah, I got them on. You know, of course this side has been on. I got this other side on. So, I got the crew coming. So, yeah. Now it's time to bleed them. Welcome, everyone. I'm just going to go ahead and do a little recap of what I did here over the weekend. Put the brakes on the Charger. Really didn't do much else. Rotated the tires. I did get it finished. And it stops perfectly. So whatever was going on in the front end, I fixed it by throwing money and parts at it. So instead of diagnosing the shit, plus the car is it's old. It's an 06. So we're talking whatever. Who cares how old it is? It's an 06. It has 167,000 miles on it. Which, isn't too bad for the year. It's still decent, I guess. Um, it needs a lot. It needs some body work, needs a paint job, needs new stickers put on it. Definitely needs some exhaust. I'll probably end up doing that here later on. And I guess I'll patch that spot in the floor. Um, I'll probably just do it the cheapy way, you know. I'll probably just get probably some roofing tar and a piece of tin. I'll probably smear that on that. I'll probably pop rivet something, like a piece of tin to it, you know, just to keep it, just to help it, and maybe undercoat it a little bit. That would probably work good. Let me get some of that bed liner coating and put on it, something like that. And next weekend I'm gonna try to get the Chevelle on the lift. I got to do a couple things first before I can make that happen. I'm going to have to get some gas and put in the 84 C10 out here. I have to put the steering wheel back on it just to get the damn thing to move. I think I have the wiring figured out on it. I'm just going to add some more grounds to the rear harness and maybe add a few grounds to the wiring going back to the back harness. That's all I know to do. That's the only thing I know to do. Is just ground the hell out of everything. 'Cause it did blow 3 fuses in a row there a while back. I didn't have no headlights, no dash lights, no brake lights, you know, parking lights. All that shit was gone. I'm going to add more grounds to that harness and see what that does. Hopefully it helps. I did reground the taillight harness and it did not do shit. It didn't do a damn thing. So I'm going to ground the other side where the other taillight is, because it's grounded on the driver's side. I'm going to ground the passenger side set and see what happens. All I can do is just do that and see what happens. But we're going to get the Chevelle, try to get it down there in the lift. I only have to take the damn thing 100 feet, you know. Hopefully it'll move out of here. It'll pull out of its tracks. It won't be slipping too bad, so I can get it down there. Hopefully the clutches haven't melted together or anything like that. Because if they did, I'll have to drag it down. And then that'll be more damage in that transmission, and I'll have to dig up another Turbo 400 out of my ass somewhere to use as parts. So, because my uncle rebuilds these things, and I would have to get a spare so he can go to that one and use parts, or vice versa. Because we don't know what the drum is like inside. We don't know how the pump is. I would say that the torque converter's fucked, because it's full of shavings, and I guarantee it ain't no fucking good now. It might be good, but I mean, if I can take it somewhere and have somebody flush it out, maybe. I really don't know if you can do that. I don't know. I'm not real sure about that, unless they have to cut the son of a bitch open to clean it out and then weld it back together. And I'm not up for doing something like that. They're not that expensive. I'll just buy another one. But I already got one for this, and then I'm going to buy one for this truck. I'm going to buy one for the other truck, and on and on. So, plus the LTD, that will be last on my list. I'm going to put some work into it too. I was going to sell it, but nobody wants it. Nobody wants to buy it. Nobody wants to pay $2,000 for a fucking car that has, you know, 103,000 original miles, or 106,000, whatever it is. The interior's perfect except for the dash top, which I can get another one around here somewhere. There's got to be one someplace. I don't know if they make them, or if maybe they just make a cover. I don't know. But maybe I can do something. I'm going to make something happen, because that dash top will come right off. And plus, I'm going to put a heater core in it too, to get the heater and stuff working again in it. It was just blowing like a fine antifreeze mist out of the vents, which is not a good thing. I've had to run sweeper trucks that had that problem, and running them this time of year is not fun when you don't have any heat and you're sitting in that thing freezing your ass off, waiting for the sun to come up to shine through the windows so you can warm up a little bit so you can do your fucking job. That's horrible. Those trucks there, they got 2 heater cores. They just went ahead and replaced both of them, but it took them weeks, to get the fucking parts, and then they fucked around for another couple weeks. It was damn near a month. I sat in that son of a bitch. By the time they got the son of a bitch in there, it was warm enough I didn't really need it. I did need to clean the windows off, but, it wasn't, by the time they got the shit, it wasn't that cold again. But anyhow, getting off topic here, but yeah, the LTD, I want to take that 302 out. I want to overhaul it, re-ring it, new bearings. I don't think I'm going to bore it. I'm just going to leave the factory bore. I may put new pistons in it, like a set of domes in it, maybe, and put what Ford calls a stage 3 camshaft in it. Put a 2600 stall converter in it, and plus I have a street strip valve body to put in that transmission. So that will definitely improve the running and shifting of that car. And I want to get some aluminum heads for that. I can get a set of Ford aluminum heads for a small block for like $600. Fully complete stainless valves. Get the big valves in them too. I think they're like 202s or 205s or something like that. I don't know. Something like that. Get aluminum intake. Rebuild another Holly and put on the son of a bitch. Probably the one that's on my blue truck here in the garage with me, because I may end up buying an additional Holly. Because my 750 is going on this truck in here for the drag strip, and hopefully I got the horsepower to take care of the fuel that it's going to dump in there, because I had it on my Chevelle years and years ago. After I bought it, I went and it had an Edelbrock 600 with an electric choke on it, and I didn't particularly care for that. So I was told it needed more fuel, and at the time it had the rear ends out of the GTO under it, and that was a 10 bolt. What they call I forget what they call it. Pontiac didn't call theirs Pawsey. I forget what they called theirs, but I think it was I think Chrysler called theirs a Sure Grip, and I'm not sure what Pontiac called theirs. But anyway, it had 433s in it. Fun, very fun gear. When you're just cruising around and you're not, have to go anywhere in a hurry, from red light to red light, that thing was fucking awesome. I'd take off out of the fucking light, chirp the tires, but he had some of the bitches, you just bark them and bark them. It barked them in every gear going through, and I'd whip them fuckers and them Camaros and shit with that thing to these fucking lights. Camaros, Mustangs. Of course, back when I had that, when I first got it, the little 4-cylinder big retard muffler, great big spoiler, Fast and Furious bullshit wasn't around back then. So, it was pretty nice, because you had competition, like Monte Carlos and Camaros and Mustangs and Cutlasses and Mercuries and shit like that to compete with. A couple of Impalas running around, back to Thunderbirds, those what the fuck do they call them, Cougars, those fucking old Cougars, those XR7s. Yeah, those cars, I could pretty well put the hammer on all of them, and any Mustang that come off the line back then I could take care of pretty quick. But it was very fun, very fun. Red light to red light bruiser, very fun car, very fun with those gears. So yeah, it was pretty awesome back in the day. I miss it. I really miss those days. But you can't sit here and dwell on the fucking past forever, because as much as you wish you could go back and do it all over again, you're not going to be able to. All I have are pictures, memories, and how awesome it was. The car looked like fucking shit. It was baby shit green, but it was so much fun. So much fun. I loved it. I had a blast. That summer when I bought that thing, oh my God. If I could do that summer, if that is what your heaven would be, that's what mine would be. If heaven was something you could relive over and over and over, I would go relive the summer after my 11th grade year. Better yet, I would go back and do my 11th grade year over again, because I had a little 75 Chevy Monza Spider back then. I had a 350 in it. And it had a turbo 350 automatic, transmission shift kit. Had a bunch of work done to that engine. That little son of a bitch, it was so fucking dangerous. And it didn't stop good. It had disc brakes. The boy didn't stop very good at all. I even put a master cylinder on the damn thing, and it still didn't stop worth a fuck. I don't know what the fuck the deal was with it, but it did not stop well. It acted like the drums didn't even work on it. And I'd never really dug further into it, because my mother drove it one night, and it was raining, and she spun that son of a bitch around in a circle. I don't know how the fuck she did. I guess she had it going a little too fast, spun it around in the fucking road, scared the shit out of her, and she made me get rid of it. She made me sell it. She said that a car like that wasn't going to be on her insurance. She said, "You'll kill yourself in that thing." I really miss that car too. It was in such perfect condition. It was such great shape. The interior looked like fuck. It looked like a fucking badger got loose in the side of it and tore the dash up, and the shoulders of the seats were all tore up. It was white with red interior. It was a Spider 2+2. It was a badass little motherfucker. Boy, was it ever fucking quick. Ran really good. Didn't weigh that much. Whenever you drive it up, buddy, it would just rock you back and forth. Run. Boy, it was really nice. Real nice car. Body was fucking perfect on it. The only thing I had, only one trouble, the stud in the door jamb, the catch the driver door. For some reason, the metal tore. That car didn't have real thick metal on it. It was like back when they started kind of putting them cars together cheap as they could. Back then. Oh, shit. Until it's late Sunday. It's like almost 9:30. It's almost my bedtime for work. Fuck. But anyhow, it was a very fun car. And if any of you like fucking with that shit, if you know where there is one, or a Vega, fucking pick one up, man, if you can. You can get them cheap if they're kind of ratty. You can get them cheap. I think I paid $1,100 for mine back in 1995. And boy, me and my dad, we really enjoyed the car. We took turns driving. Sometimes he'd drive it around, and I would drive it. And I mean, it was such a blast to drive. And I had, the one side had a regular manifold on it, because I didn't have any headers. I didn't have a lot of money. I had some money I'd used the money I had left over for my first Chevelle that I sold. I sold it for $3,500 to a guy. And then I bought that Monza for $1,100. Number 6 rod in the engine was knocking. So pulled it out, overhauled it, had it bored 30, 292 Summit camshaft to put in it. It already had a Performer RPM intake on it. It had a remanufactured Quadrajet that Holly remanufactured. Boy, was it a piece of shit. I had a hell of a time getting it to run. You just pump your leg into a cramp getting it to start. And, geez, crown me, the engine had full oil pressure by the time you got it started. Oh, shit. Excuse my ass. So, I did all that, and I just pulled transmission engine out, because you couldn't get to the bell housing bolts. It was so tight. And the one side had a regular manifold on it, like
you'd see on a square body Chevy truck. And then the other side had a ram's horn on it. One of them real old ram's horns. And in order to change the spark plugs, or no, I'm sorry, driver's side had the ram's horn because the steering shaft went down next to it. And the other side had the regular manifold, because you had to jack up the driver's side of the engine to get to the spark plugs. That's how tight it was. And I remember that shit. It even had the spare tire in it from the factory. It was one of those ones that had the sidewall folded in on it. And it looked like a low-profile tire. I was thinking, fuck, there's a donut in this piece of shit. And it had the old can of air that came with it. And it's like you blowed it up, had this can. It was just a can, like a paint can. And you just push on the valve, and it would inflate enough to get you somewhere, to get a tire. And I inflated it just to see what it looked like, and the whole sidewall flue would just come out. It looked like it had a recap on it, is what it looked like. And it blew my fucking mind. I just thought, holy fuck, that is awesome. So I deflated it, put it back in. It fit like right in the quarter, because it was kind of, the back of it was kind of like a Camaro, like a hatch on a 80s Camaro. And it had these two spots. The spare tire fit down in there, and it was covered up with plastic. It was like a door you opened up on it. It had a lock on it. You use a switch key, you open it up, and there it was, sitting in there. And it had a big bolt and a big wing nut on it. You just tighten it down. But I remember the shocks were wore out on the hatch. I had to carry a 2x4 with me to prop it open. It was really heavy, too. That hatch was. That car, it didn't weigh too much. I really wanted to take it to the drag strip. I knew a guy down here, a couple miles away from me down the road here. He had a Vega wagon, and he had leftover parts because he kept upgrading the car. He had a set of 373 Pawsey rears and a set of headers. He wanted $200 for the whole thing. And I was going to buy it, but I didn't get to buy it soon enough because my mother had drove the car that time. And she's like, you got to get rid of this thing. Got to get rid of it. You're going to die in this. She goes, get a car you can fit in. I wasn't as big then as what I am now. So it didn't matter. I fit in the car just fine. But I had a little Grant steering wheel on it. I took the factory wheel off because I thought it looked gay. I'll keep you on in here. I'm getting tired. I'm tired of my old age. But yeah, I don't have a picture of the Monza to show you, but because my photo albums are in my bedroom in the house. And but it was so awesome. I put it in an auto trader to sell it. I got one call on it. A guy from New York called, and he asked me how far I was from Pittsburgh, and I said about 2 hours. I said 2 hours south. I said in the tip of Maryland. I said, you come somewhere into Maryland, I said, I will meet you with it. And the guy never showed up. He never bought it. As I was asking $3,500 for it too. After I did all that work to it, I would spin off. It had small tires on it. I would spin them sons of bitches off. It had real high gears. And all that torque and horsepower I had just would melt those tires. It mounted up pretty good. It really ran well. I put the hammer on a lot of Mustangs, a lot of 89 5.0 Fox body Mustangs. I put the hammer on a lot of those cars with it. I mean, that thing, it was definitely on the interstate. You could definitely whoop up on some people with it because it had really high rear ends. When you'd kick that car in passing gear and when it would shift to the next gear after it kicked back out, it would bark the tires every time. and I had a Holly 600 on it. That's when you could get a trick kit and it have all the stuff in it. Holly's trick kits now, they fuck you on them. You have to buy different stages. And the last stage of Holly fucking trick is like $100. It's over 100 now probably. I haven't bought one. I just buy the stage 2 kit. And that son of a bitch is like fucking $50. Fucking ridiculous. Ridiculous. But anyhow, the Charger stuff is done. The brakes are on it. They work excellent. The car needs tuned up. And the 4-cylinder shutdown system on it malfunctions. As long as you keep your foot out of it, it works okay. If you get to romping on that son of a bitch, you get to hammering on it, it'll blow the end off the spark plugs. And it'll pick a cylinder. And it will have a violent detonation in that cylinder. And it will mash the gap shut on the one plug. 'Cause it has 16 spark plugs. It'll mash the gap shut on one spark plug. And it'll blow the end off another one. I bet you I have a plug I can show you all. To show you how fucked up this bullshit is. Oh shit, the light's in here. Here's my of junk. Just about everything you can imagine is in here. A bike, a book tub bike, small auto light plugs. Oh man. Let's take a look at these. And I'll show you what I mean. I'll get them out of here. Okay. I found one. Okay. Get ready for this bullshit. Let me make you shed some light on this. My camera will focus here. But yeah. It blows the ends off of them. Electrode's gone. Everything's gone on the end. Now this is an original copper core plug. This was in it from the factory. This is what they put in. They were Champions. And I still have them. I had a bad valve pan gasket on there and it filled up the plug holes with oil. Because there's gaskets around the plug holes. And there's... of course, a valve cover gasket. So that's what we're looking at. That's what happens to them when you get on it. So not really anything there to protect anymore. But anyway, that's what happens to those cocksuckers. And I got some other plug in there. Oh, well. That's some old shit. I got a mess here now. But anyhow, that's what happens to them. They will blow to pieces. And, that's not good. So, but anyhow, I'm going to try and tune that car up here sometime. I have to put exhaust on it again. Just the tailpipes over the rear. What I have a notion to do is just put some... turn downs on those Flowmasters. Yeah, that'll be awesome. That'll fucking sound good. Boy, that'll bring that bitch to life. Just as long as she doesn't notice there's no tailpipe sticking out the back. She don't even look at the car anyhow, so it doesn't matter. But it'll definitely be something. She'll be like, oh, it got fucking louder. What the hell? And I'll be like, yeah. Yeah, this motherfucker's louder. But you still can't romp on it, so. You can't romp on it. It'll just blow those plugs to pieces. And it'll do it like it was doing it to number 1 and number 3, which are next to each other, because it's got the same firing order as, your a typical small block. 1-843-6572. And 1 and 3 because your one side's odd and the other side is even. Number one's on the driver's side. First one, it mashed the gap shut in one, blew the end off the plug in the other, and in number 3, it did the same fucking thing. And now, you're wondering, what happened to the ends of those plugs? Well, I can tell you that they are down probably inside the catalytic converter somewhere. Because after a while, it bounced around on top of the piston. You could hear it in there. You could hear it in there flopping around. And you know how fast them pistons are going up and down. I mean, they're really getting her. So, they're on top of the piston, rapping. Well, when the exhaust valve opens up on the exhaust skirt, they eventually just go out through the exhaust. And they are down in the catalytic converter. If I cut them catalytic converters off, there are going to be several ends of spark plugs down in there laying. Now, the one time it didn't go in there so fast, it was in there for a while. Because we used to run the car quite frequently, and it sits around a good bit now. Unless she's got to go somewhere, and I used to never run it in the salt, but these last 2 winters we have ran it, but it hasn't been in bad weather, just where it was just salty, and it would rain a little bit. She brought it home the other night. She went to the casino and brought it home the other night, and that's why the salt was so thick on it, because it was snowing on her way home, and she was freaking out, because, women can't drive. Women are not good drivers. Most of them cannot drive in the snow. And then they sit around and say they don't need a man. How would all this shit get done to a car if a guy wasn't around that knew his fucking shit about it? But anyhow, on those Chargers, they make a harness to bypass the 4-cylinder shutdown, but you got to take the intake off the engine. You got to take all that trash off top of that fucking motor to put that shit in there. For each cylinder, there's a sensor for each cylinder, and you got to pull them up out. And you change the harness, and you put other things back down in there, cancels it all out, and more or less just plug the hole shut. So, I guess it's works with the coil packs. I don't know. I don't care. But I know she should have got rid of the car a long time ago. But, it's one of those things where you don't want another car payment. Fuck these car payments. I don't. Jesus Christ, you can't hardly buy a car anymore, under 60 grand. So, unless you're buying some piece of shit. Well, they're all pieces of shit now. All these new cars are junk. So, what we would have to do is just buy something older that's in good shape and go from there. But anyhow, I'm getting off the subject of what I was talking about anyway. So, that's going to sum this bullshit up for the weekend. I'm done with my rant. And all of you, like, share, comment, subscribe. And next weekend, if I'm lucky, I will have this old girl on the lift. If everything can go the way I need it to go this week, it's supposed to be half decent. I think it's a lot of rain, though, in the forecast, I think. But it's supposed to be warmer. Because the lows last night was like 16 here. And with the wind chill, it was like -1. Which, fucking, that's fantastic. You can go out there. Nothing better than, except warm weather. When you're have the couple days of like 60 degrees or 50 degrees. And then all of a sudden it's 17 with a wind chill of -1. You kind of get tender like a pussy. And not tender, and you're kind of just a little bit juicy, and you're real cold, real easy. So anyway, that's all I got. So we will have another adventure this coming weekend. Be back in the garage, turning wrenches, get the old Chevelle ready for summertime, which is just around the corner. Everybody have a good one. And again, like, share, comment, subscribe. Tell me I'm a dick. Tell me I'm a fucking ugly douchebag looking bastard. I don't care. Tell me whatever you want. Have questions? Feel free to ask. And I will try to answer them best I can. And I'll see you all later.